Disney just watched $62 million evaporate in real time, while 3,000 miles away, Christopher Nolan might have just made the biggest movie of the goddamn decade. Two movies, same week. One studio celebrating, one studio sweating through their shirts. Let's start with a disaster. Disney's live-action Moana remake, yeah, the one starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson reprising Maui, was supposed to be a slam dunk, a beloved original, an animated sequel that already crossed $1 billion. The Rock's face on every poster. Free money, right? Wrong. Tracking numbers just got slashed, and industry analysts are officially panicking. Original projections had this thing opening domestically somewhere between $75 and $96 million. Respectable, not insane, but solid. Now, the updated range is $57 to $72 million, with most trackers landing right around $62 million as the realistic number. That's a 25% free fall in 1 week. And it gets worse. Some analysts over at Global Box Office are saying advanced ticket sales are so brutal, this thing might not even crack $60 million in the US and Canada. International, even shakier. Now look, for some random mid-budget studio flick, $60 million opening weekend would be a career highlight. Pop the champagne, throw a party. But this isn't some random flick. This is Disney. And Disney doesn't make remakes to be fine. They make them to print billion-dollar paydays. That's the whole business model. So here's the real question nobody at Disney wants to answer out loud. How the hell do you climb out of a $60 million opening weekend hole? Stick around, because I'm about to break down the number that's going to make Disney executives lose sleep tonight, and then we're jumping straight into why Nolan's Odyssey is about to eat everyone's lunch. Let's get into it. All right, let's talk money. Real money. Disney won't confirm the actual production budget. They never do. They guard that number like it's the nuclear codes. But analysts aren't stupid, and they've got a pretty solid comparison sitting right there. The Little Mermaid. Same deal, same kind of insane underwater CGI, same photorealistic ocean rendering, same let's recreate an entire living sea nightmare for the visual effects team. That movie cost Disney $240 million back in 2023. Adjust that for today's inflated production costs, and you're looking at Moana sitting somewhere around $260 to $270 million just to make the damn thing. And that's before you factor in the small detail that this movie needed constant shape-shifting Maui transformations, living water as basically a character, an army of mythical CGI creatures, oh, and The Rock's paycheck, which is not what you'd call budget-friendly. Now slap on a global marketing campaign, easily another $100 million, and Disney needs this movie to pull in roughly $700 million worldwide just to break even. $700 million, starting from a domestic opening that might not even hit 60. For context, Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King, Disney's actual remake success stories, opened at $175 to $190 million domestically. Then they cruised past $1 billion worldwide like it was nothing. Moana's starting the race with a busted leg. And this is where the real question kicks in. Is Disney's entire remake machine just running out of gas? Because let's be honest, the studio's been running a straight-up assembly line. Cinderella, Aladdin, The Lion King, Little Mermaid, Snow White, now Moana. At some point, audiences stop showing up just because they recognize the title. Yeah, Disney still got legit heavy hitters in the pipeline. Lilo and Stitch proved that. But global audiences are getting tired of paying $20 for the exact same story wrapped in slightly shinier CGI. No new ideas, just a more expensive coat of paint. So can Moana lean on nostalgia, family audiences, and that soundtrack everybody still has stuck in their head to claw its way to $1 billion? Maybe, we'll know soon enough. But now, let's flip the script completely. Because while Disney's sweating bullets, there's a 3-hour epic that just walked into theaters and made half of Hollywood's film critics lose their minds. Let's talk about Nolan's Odyssey. So Odyssey just had its first press screenings and the internet basically exploded. This is arguably the most anticipated movie of the entire year. People were buying tickets for this thing back in summer of last year before anybody had even seen a single frame. The question everyone's asking, did Nolan just top his own Oscar-winning masterpiece and turn an ancient Greek poem into the blockbuster of the decade? Based on early reactions, yeah, looks like it. Analysts are projecting an opening weekend somewhere between 80 and 100 million domestically, with roughly matching numbers internationally. And that number could still climb if the hype train keeps rolling into release weekend. Critics are throwing around words like staggering, pure cinema, and calling it a full-blown return to the kind of jaw-dropping adventure filmmaking that movies were invented for. One critic described it as a massive myth about post-war disillusionment and lost innocence. Heavy stuff, but apparently it lands. Not everybody's completely sold, though. A few critics pointed out the pacing gets clunky in spots, and cramming basically the entire Greek mythological universe into 3 hours means some threads feel a little overstuffed. Even the guys nitpicking it admit the final act absolutely delivers. Now, let's talk performances, because this is where it gets spicy. Matt Damon is getting called career best, straight up Oscar buzz already, before the movies even hit wide release. Robert Pattinson is apparently stealing every single scene he's in as the smuggest, most conniving suitor gunning for the throne. Critics are calling his performance electric. But here's the part that's got people talking behind the scenes. Remember the whole casting controversy? Lupita Nyong'o playing Helen of Troy? That announcement caused a massive stir online. Well, in every single early review published so far, nobody mentions her. Not her performance, not her character, nothing. So either her role got cut down to basically nothing, which raises the question of why in the first place, or Nolan sitting on some massive twists critics are contractually forbidden from spoiling. We'll find out soon enough. Look, early reactions are always worth a grain of salt. We've all seen premiere night hype crash back down to earth once general audiences weigh in. But even accounting for the usual marketing noise, it's pretty clear Nolan tried to fuse historical brutality, an intimate homecoming story, and full-blown mythology into one massive canvas. Alright, that's it for today. Drop your predictions in the comments. Is Moana clawing back to $1 billion, or is this a full-blown Disney faceplant? Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. This has been Rick. Peace out.